Forum with regards to resolutions and recommendations. Fifth Forum, resolutions and recommendations. The preamble: we, the participants of the Fifth Governors Forum, namely the governors of the 10 states and the 3 chief administrative areas and other delegates to the forum hosted in Juba city from the 22nd to the 29th of November 2021. Under the chairmanship of His Excellency President Salva Kiir Mayardit and co-chaired by His Excellency Riek Machar Teny Durgon. The role of states and administrative areas in the implementation of the revitalized agreement on the resolution of the conflict in the Republic of South Sudan, R-ARCSS, for a peaceful, stable, and prosperous South Sudan. Applauding His Excellency General Salva Kiir Mayardit, President of the Republic of South Sudan, for reverting the country to 10 states and establishing the 3 administrative areas, leading the country wisely, and for his commitment to the implementation of the R-ARCSS, which has brought peace to our country. Commending His Excellency Dr. Riek Machar Teny Durgon, first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, for effectively sharing the meetings of the Governors Forum to a successful conclusion. Expressing heartfelt gratitude to Honorable Dr. Barnaba Marial Benjamin, Minister of Presidential Affairs, for leading the organization of this Governors Forum, which has not been held in the past 5 years. Thanking the United Nations Development as UNDP, stroke UNMISS, for its logistical, technical, and financial support to the whole process of hosting this forum, as well as other partners that provided support in one way or the other. We thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Samuel Doe of the UNDP, for the great logistical support we have had, Mr. President, together with UNMISS and others. They have given us tremendous assistance for us to hold this conference. Now, the resolutions. On peace and security, number 1, a firm commitment of the states to the implementation of the R-ARCSS. 2, continue disseminating the R-ARCSS. 3, pursue holding more local peace initiatives across the country to end the communal conflicts. 4, the child and women abduction, wherever it occurs, has to be stopped. Regulate movement of cattle to avoid conflicts between pastoralists and farmers. Return schools, lands, recreational centers, and public open spaces given to investors and individuals. Return confiscated properties of religious institutions, including land. 8, commend the peace efforts made by President Salva Kiir Mayardit in the region, namely Juba Peace Agreement in the Sudan, here in Juba, a peace initiative on conflict between the Ethiopian government and the TPLF. C, a peace initiative on border conflict between Sudan and Ethiopia. And D, a peace initiative on conflict between Ethiopia on one side and Egypt and Sudan on the other side over the filling of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERI. Number 9, to commemorate the nuns that died in this conflict. The forum calls His Excellency President Salva Kiir Mayardit for a consideration for the resumption of Rome peace talks with the holdout groups, that is SOMA. 10, the governors stroke chief administrators are to adhere to the power sharing ratios as per the agreement in allocating constitutional positions, including municipalities and the country councils. On the issue of governance, the resolutions are: number 11, state governments to collect personal income tax, PIT, of state employees. 12, complete establishment of local government councils in municipalities and counties. 13, introduce e-government at states, administrative areas, and counties. 14, incorporate the leadership of national and state legislatures as participants to the Governors Forum. We're talking about next year. 15, the national government urges the state governors, chief administrators, and their deputies to run collegial government as per peace agreement. 16, in the process of developing powers and resources to states and counties as per R-ARCSS, the state governments are to contribute in the process. 17, each state is to review state constitution in order to conform to the Constitution of the Republic of South Sudan 2011 amended and R-ARCSS. 18, the interpretation of the national flag. This is important for all of us to know. A, the black color in the flag symbolizes the people of South Sudan. B, each of the white strips symbolizes peace and is supposed to be 1/8 of any of the three colors, black, red, and green. That is the two white colors. C, the red color symbolizes the blood of the martyrs fighting for this country. D, from immemorial, by the way, not just beginning with the Nyanya one and the SPLM, SPLA, it goes back as far back, our great ancestors who have been fighting hard in this country. D, the green color symbolizes the fertile land of South Sudan. E, the color of the triangle in the flag is sky blue. I repeat, it's sky blue, and it symbolizes the Nile and its tributaries. It bonds all the other colors of the flag, like the Nile and its tributaries, bonds the lands of South Sudan. It unites all that. F, the yellow star symbolizes the hope for a bright future for the people of South Sudan. Sometimes you get the gold around the flag, that is just a decoration. You don't need to have it, but it is important. The flags, small flags used by our president and other dignitaries, you can put your gold there. Good luck. 19, the sizes of the flag, the standard, big, and hand table flags. They must be of standard sizes. The length of the standard flag is 1.5 meters. That is the length, while the width is only 1 meter. Those are the strict measurements of the flag, especially for our state governors. They will observe that. In production of the national flag, the producers must conform to the correct colors, measurement proportions in accordance to application, whether it is a hand flag or a big one. All the authorities are to replace the existing flags with the correct one. 23, the Ministry of Presidential Affairs to provide national flags for all the states and administrative areas. 24, the states to provide samples of flags of their states and counties to the Ministry of Presidential Affairs. We need these in the presidency for the knowledge of the leadership of this country. Basic services, resolutions on basic services. Urge the people to adhere to COVID-19 preventive measures. 26, urge the people to get vaccinated. 27, encourage the construction of water yards rather than boreholes. On economics, the states and administrative areas shall conduct yearly agricultural livestock shows exhibitions. 29, establish agricultural export product centers in the states and counties. Number 30, establish slaughterhouses in the states and counties. Resolutions on the recommendations, now we come to them. Those were the resolutions. On recommendations on peace and security, we recommend encourage the presidency to expedite the training, graduation, and deployment of unified forces. 2, national government to provide food and other services to the cantonment, barracks, training, and DDR centers. 3, conduct peaceful disarmament across the country. 4, hold a peace conference between Unity State and Ruweng administrative area in Juba and between states or counties with similar issues. 5, continue peace conferences between Jonglei State and Pibor administrative area. 6, reconcile communities of Greater Upper Nile State through conferences. 7, urge national government to establish peace fund to support states in the implementation of R-ARCSS. 8, empower traditional and religious leaders to deal with the conflicts at the local level. Recommendations on governance. Number 9, Council of States to actively resolve inter and intra-states boundaries and between states and administrative areas. 10, the national government to support financing the committees working on border issues. 11, the national government to establish border commissions to replace the current committees. Number 12, all government institutions are to respect and apply public service rules and regulations. 13, the public service rules and regulations be disseminated at national and state levels. 14, develop strong and robust foreign policy that aims at maintaining good relations with other countries. 15, all the foreign correspondents from national institutions and state governments must go through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Number 16, strengthen the South Sudan National Bureau of Standards, SSNBS, to improve inspection of imported goods, including food. 7, expedite payment of post services benefits of constitutional post holders of defunct 32 states. I think there are about 2,500 of them. 19, 18, expedite the final resolution on the status of ABA. 19, select from unified forces, police, prison to establish forces. 20, regulate consumption of alcohol in the states and administrative areas. That is, you regulate it. You cannot ban it. There's no Sharia law in this country. So you regulate it, honorable governors. 21, print and distribute more copies of R-ARCSS. 22, print and distribute more copies of R-ARCSS. 22, print and provide more copies of the Constitution amended and the Local Government Act of 2009. 23, recruit and train more local administrative officers, preferably graduates from universities or colleges. 24, pay chiefs according to their grades. 25, unify and standardize the uniforms, scarves, sashes, and epaulets for the chiefs. 26, urge the national government to support states in addressing rampant land grabbing. 27, adopt severe measures to curb corruption in all government institutions. 28, improve coordination between states and national ministries. 29, harmonize the work of the national commissions and independent institutions with corresponding state institutions. 30, urge national government to make policies to address the land issues. 31, hold governors forum twice a year. 32, all states and administrative areas to adhere to ending child marriage and adopt measures and strategies for implementation. 33, establish councils for traditional authority leaders at all levels of government. 34, print and distribute these resolutions and recommendations of previous governors' forums as from 2006 to 2014. 35, strengthen the wildlife service to protect game reserves and national parks across the country. 36, urge all public and private sectors to display the official map of South Sudan in their offices and the official functions, because there are a lot of different maps we have seen in so many offices, which are not the real map. This is a very serious issue, and I think honorable governors, Mr. President, have been distributed the proper flag of the Republic of South Sudan, the boundaries shown. The recommendations on economics urge the Ministry of Finance and Planning and the Bank of South Sudan to accelerate reforms in the public financial management. 38, states and administrative areas to coordinate with the Bank of South Sudan on all matters relating to the regulations, licensing, and the promotion of financial inclusion and financial literacy in the country. 39, in the light of stiff competition from foreign business, the national government is to support South Sudanese private sector. Number 40, to enhance peace and stability across the country, the government is to provide employment and skill opportunities to youth. 41, guarantee rights of youth to work anywhere in the 42, establish national youth service across the country. 43, adopt measures to deal with environmental impact in oil producing areas. 44, provide land for investment in all the states and create zero areas for grazing. 45, encourage use of ox plows in the states. 46, mobilize resources for state development. Number 47, allocate funds to revive defunct schemes in the country, such as Anzara Complex, Mangala and Tobacco, Mangala and Melut sugar schemes, a wheel rice. Some of these were started since the British days, when the British administration was still here. A wheel rice scheme, you have Upper Talanga Tea Project, Waitoka Coffee, Waitoka Tobacco, Kachire Timber, and that Gilo Tonj Kinaf, and Ural Oil Mill. 48, organize and engage South Sudanese diaspora to contribute to development of South Sudan. 49, increase the size of allocations to states and administrative areas fairly and equitably. 50, release timely conditional transfers to states and administrative areas. 51, to ensure quality seeds and timely provision of seeds to farmers. The National Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is to regulate and control the award of contracts to companies that provide seeds. Number 52, urge the national government to allocate funds to the state for construction of feeder roads. 53, with respect to shares allocated to oil-producing states, administrative areas, and communities, urge the national government and the states to adhere to the Constitution amended and Petroleum Revenue Act. Number 54, implement the reviewed and approved salary structure immediately. Number 55, transfer all assets of the former Egyptian irrigation projects in South Sudan to the National Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation. 56, rehabilitate the irrigation schemes in Rang and Manyo counties in Upper Nile State. 57, welcome the assumption of South Sudan Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation to the chair of the Council of Ministers of the Nile Basin countries. 58, urge the Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation to organize the next summit of the heads of state and government of the Nile Basin countries in Juba. 59, calls for donors conference with development partners. The recommendations on basic services. Number 59, provide basic services to lessen grievances and conflicts among the population. 60, support individuals and communities affected by floods. 61, review the alignment of road construction plans, the plans for the roads. That is N1, N2, N3, N4, N5, A1, A2, A5, and A850, etc., taking into consideration the concerns raised. 62, improve teachers' working conditions to motivate and enhance performance in the schools. 63, incorporate in the curriculum of general education the following: communication, collaboration, creative and critical thinking, responsible citizens' character. Number 64, South Sudan educational curriculum shall remain the current system, 8, 4, and 4, meaning 8 years basic, 4 years secondary schools, and at least 3 years in the college, or 4 years and more at the university. Number 65, allocate scholarships to state and administrative areas equitably. 66, allocate more time to state news and other local programs on SSBC and other media outlets. 67, for agricultural transformation, encourage adoption of cooperative development principles. 68, national government to support states to develop cooperatives, research centers, and training institutions. 69, establish agro-mechanical service centers across the country to support expansion of agricultural production and productivity and to enhance food security. Number 70, protect and provide services to refugees, IDPs, and returnees, as well as host communities. 71, adopt measures to deal with climate change and its impact. 72, conduct environmental and social impact assessment prior to commissioning of development project. 73, to control and mitigate impact of floods, build dams, canals, dikes, and dredge waterways. 74, support for building institutional capacity. 75, states to provide land to national institutions, such as requested by the Minister of Labor and Bank of South Sudan. 76, revive school sports tournaments. 77, encourage sports and athletic clubs in states, administrative areas, and counties. 78, establish the following funds. A, stabilization fund. B, future generations fund. C, special reconstruction fund. D, healthcare support fund. E, student support fund. F, youth enterprise fund. G, women enterprise fund. H, compensation and reparation fund. I, infrastructure fund. And J, social security fund. That is the end of the resolutions, Your Excellency, Mr. President, as we have read them.